Welcome back to the Center for Off-Road Research, Shenanigans, and Science, and today we're going to do a little bit of sciencey stuff again. We've already talked about the gear ratios for stock. The spur gear has 55 teeth. The pinion, which I don't have one free right at the moment, has 11. So that's basically the pinion gear would have to turn 5 times in order to match one rotation on this, because the teeth have to hook together, and that's a 5-to-1 ratio. The hot racing gears, we've talked about these. They're the most coarse. It's a 0.5 modulus. This is a 0.3, by the way. They're really smooth and really nice. They mesh well. The hot racing, I'm glad these gears exist. I really am, because for a long time, if you want to run a big motor, it's all you had. But that is a 32 tooth pinion with an 32 tooth spur gear with an 8 tooth pinion. This has to turn 4 times for this to turn once, because 32 divided by 8 is 4. So there you go. Hot racing is the new one on the block, which I really like. I'll zoom in on that. And one of the reasons I like them is because they have a 41 tooth spur gear, but you have 3 options for the pinions, and there's a 10 tooth, 11 tooth, and 12 tooth. None of these get you as low as the stock or hot racing. So these are the gears you want if you want to go fast. Mofo RC offers the 0.3 modulus gears that will hook into the stock spur, and I'm probably going to grab some of those. I hope they have some with a 2-inch bore for the 130 size motors. But we'll talk about the PN Racing right now. We've got, like we said, a 41 tooth here, 12, 11, and 10. And what those ratios work out to is the 10 tooth gives you a 4.1, which is almost equivalent to the hot racing. The 11 tooth is a 3.72 to 1, so this is even faster gear. And the 12 tooth will get you 3.41, and with the line over it means that number repeats forever. This 7.2 repeats forever, and that's just a ratio. It's mathematically insignificant for what we're doing here, but just wanted to be correct in my notations of the math. But anyway, those are the gears, and I'm gonna try to throw in the PN spur gear and the 10 tooth on my E1. And right now I've got the hot racing gears, and they're good, but they are noisy. So I'll just do a quick run with the hot racing gears that are currently installed, and then we'll measure. The speed will be insignificant because it's a 0.1 difference with the 10 tooth, but you're going to notice a difference in noise level and smoothness. Just to give you a frame of reference for this sound test with the hot racing gears, with this battery, it is about 4 grams heavier than stock, and it currently sits at 387 grams. But I'll do a run up some rocks just so you can hear what it sounds like. That noise is always there. They're very loud gears. Let's see if I can't go a different way this time. Hey, that's a good way to test it. I'll put it on its side. You can hear how they kind of make a lot of noise. They're angry. So I'm going to pull these gears out, put in the PN Racing gears. I'm going to lose 0.1 on the gear ratio, so I'll lose a tiny bit of torque, but not much. Anytime I disturb the gear mesh on one of my motors, by removing the motor, you'll do that, or sliding it, or changing gears, I always check to make sure that my gear mesh doesn't sound funny or do anything weird, not too tight, but you can always tell by the sound. So I'll plug it into the car and just spin it once. Hear that sound? That kind of a high zing. That's a good mesh. If it sounded crunchy or boggy or kind of, I don't know, you'll know if it sounds wrong, but it should have that high, that wee sound. It's ready to go back together. I've got the PN gears installed now. I've got the 10-tooth pinion, and it's a little more zingy than it was. A little less grumbly. Under load, it still makes a bit of noise, but not bad. Gears are a little bit happier. They don't seem as coggy. Give you a chance to hear them in a second. Still make a bit of noise. Not too bad though. And just to kind of wrap up this video on the gear ratios, I would love it if any manufacturers are watching this, if you could come out with a lower gear ratio than stock, so it has more torque and a little less speed, I would be interested in buying those gears immediately. I would love it if you could do both a 1.5 millimeter aperture and a 2 millimeter, so that I could run the PN 70 and 90 motors as well. But that's all I got for this video, and hope you have fun on the trails. Have a great weekend, everybody.